Hello. I believe you can change the past. If you know me well, you've probably heard me talking about how I believe you can change the past, or maybe you've watched some of my previous videos in which I discussed that topic. God can change the past to answer prayers. I received a lot of confusion on that. In general, there's two kind of people. You have one person that believes in destiny. So you believe that you're born and then you die, and there's a straight line from that point that you're born till when you die. And you can't deviate off of that line no matter what. Everything is predestined. I used to believe that. I even came up with a quote. I said that choice is simply an illusion resulting from a very complex chain reaction. What I mean by that is that we believe that we have this choice, this ability to choose, but it's really just a result of everything that happened before us. That's the external influences happening upon you from the moment that you were born, and your brain or your genetics or your soul or all of those things together determine every choice that you make. Thus, you have no choice.
And I don't know if we each have a destiny.
Then you have a person that believes that the past is behind them and they're moving in a line, right? And you're at a certain point, but then everything kind of fans out from there. So you're in the present moment and you can choose. So I can go left, I can go right. I can quit my job, I can keep my job. I can sit on the couch and eat ice cream, or I can go to the gym.
Or if we're all just floating around accidental like on a breeze.
Now what I believe is that you're in the present moment, and moving forward into the future, it fans out. So you have choice in one direction, but I also think it fans out in the opposite direction as well. So we can change, or some people like to use the word influence, the past as well. By the way, I believe in contradiction.
Maybe both is happening at the same time.
But let me continue going. Now I could talk your ear off about quantum mechanics, but I'm not gonna do that. You go do your own research. Get on the internet, look into the observer effect, look into the collapse of the wave function. It's kind of important to understand these principles, because if what I'm about to discuss, if you just automatically disregard it because you can't wrap your mind around it, you gotta look into that stuff before you make up your mind about these kind of things, okay? Also, dimensional space, specifically dimensions 4 through 6. I probably sound like a huge nerd right now, but let me just tell you about this experiment that recently I learned about. In July of the year 2000, Dr. Leonard Libovici conducted a double-blind, randomized, controlled trial involving hospital patients, 3,393 patients to be exact. He divided these hospital patients up into two groups. One was a controlled group, and the other group was an intercession group. He set out to see if prayer would have any effect on their condition. The doctor selected all patients that suffered from sepsis during their stay in the hospital. He randomly designated half of those patients to have prayers said for them, to have prayers said for their recovery, and then half of the patients were not prayed for. He compared the results in three categories: how long their fever lasted, how long their hospitalization time was, and their mortality rate, or whether or not they died. The prayed for group benefited from a decreased fever time and a shorter hospitalization time. The mortality rate was statistically insignificant, although it was still better for the group that was prayed for. Now, does it seem odd that there were so many cases of sepsis at this one hospital in July of 2000? Was this place just really poorly sanitized, or were there some kind of contagion running rampant? Actually, those who were praying were not actually praying for current cases in the year 2000. Instead, unbeknownst to them, they were praying for lists of people that stayed in that hospital from the year 1990 to 1996. 4 to 10 years prior to this experiment, prayed for patients actually got better in the 1990s from an experiment that would be conducted years later. Let me say this another way. The patients that were prayed for in the year 2000 all showed measurable changes in health, but those changes took effect years prior. A statistical analysis of this experiment proved that these effects were far beyond coincidence. Food for thought, guys. Hey, I didn't come up with that experiment. I mean, I've been saying it from the beginning that we could change the past. Now I have a study that confirms what I'm saying, which was done in the year 2000, which I normally tell people when they don't believe me, that the past will just realign itself to be congruent with whatever it is that you're praying for, or your thoughts, or your intentions, or whatever it is on how you want to think about it. But anyway, that's it for the video, guys. God bless you all. Peace.
If there's anything you need, I won't be far away.